Okay, 4.2 statistical indices. So we're going to talk about what a statistical index is. And what this is like a weighted mean, so like a weighted average, used to show change over time. So in 4.1, we talked about averages and the change, the percentages. We talked about weighted mean. We talked about the change over time. Now, change is measured with respect to the base period. So many people use base 100 to make it easy. Real life examples. So this is used to report on numerous variables. Like in actual real life, consumer prices are based on statistical indices, stock prices, customer satisfaction, and human development. Okay, so a lot of real life applications here. So the consumer price index changes in price of a group of consumer goods. This is a real life example. So this is just consumer goods and services used by Canadians. Okay, for example, it includes milk, telephone services, transportation, but it's like a huge pot of different things. The CPI is commonly used to measure inflation, so an overall increase of prices over a period of time. Okay, originally this index used 29 food items, but I think that like our entire society has completely changed in the last maybe like even 50 years, and now it uses over 600 items. Okay, and that's just to measure, again, it measures such things as inflation. Each item is given a different weight factor based on the average annual spendings per household on that item. Okay, if it's more important to people or less important, more often bought, less often bought, okay, that's what it would equate to. Prices are either adjusted monthly, quarterly, or annually. So go ahead, watch these two videos, try to get like a little bit of a deeper understanding, and then we will continue. Okay, so example 1, CPI and weighting factors. So this graph right here, this pie graph, shows the CPI and weight factors in 2002. Okay, so in 1992, okay, so this is 10 years before, clothing and footwear had a weighting factor of 6.6%. Okay, so in real life, why would the factor be changed in 2002? So I would look this up and I would say, okay, clothing and footwear. So it changed from 6.60 and it went down to 5.36. So why does it have a smaller weighting? Okay, so an example, a reason for this, and I'm going to actually type this up, is there's different technologies. There are different technologies out now making clothing and shoes more affordable. Okay, another reason, because maybe people's priorities are different than maybe shoes and clothing. Okay, I hope you can see that. Food is more necessary than transportation. Why might it have a lower weighting factor than transportation? Spell check. Okay, so an example of this one is that it's cheaper. So hold on. Food is cheaper. So based on the percentage of annual income, less annual income would be allotted to food. Okay, so for an example, to purchase a car, it would be a lot of money, or insurance on a car, or maintenance, gas. Okay, it's a lot of money. Food is just generally cheaper. So if you're talking based on percentages, that's why. Okay, see, if there was a 2% increase in the cost of shelter, how would it affect CPI? Okay, so just looking this up, cost of shelter, cost of shelter is 26.2%, right? So just in general, if we take that 26.2% and there was a 2% increase, okay, how would it affect CPI? So what would happen is CPI would increase okay, because the average cost increases and shelter accounts for 26.2% of the calculation. So overall, if this is more than a quarter, this is more than 25% of the entire calculation. So if this goes up, all of CPI is going to go up. Okay, and if there's a 2% increase in the cost of health and personal care, how would that affect CPI? Okay, so if we take a look at health and personal care, that's 4.73. Okay, so CPI may also increase. However, it will not increase as much as it would for, oh, it changed to green. For I'm going to call it an area with a higher weighting percentage. Here we go. So go ahead and watch What is an Index on YouTube, and we're going to talk about the Toronto Stock Exchange. So the primary index for the Toronto Stock Exchange is known as the TSX Composite Index, usually just referred to as the TSX. Okay, so this graph shows the TSX Composite Index from January 1st, 2000 to August 15th, 2008. Okay, so what the TSX is it's an index based on a bunch of different stocks in the stock market. Okay, there's like the TSX 500, and that's like 500 different stocks. Okay, so if we looked at the trend of the TSX index, it's going to tell us the trend of like the overall, basically like stock world. Okay, so A, by what factor did the index grow or fall from? Okay, so we're going to locate January 1st, 2000, which is here, and September 1st, 2000, which is here. So we can see that the stock went up, but we want to know by what factor. Okay, so number one, just like in 4.1, we want to take this number here. So it's these numbers for like these points here. They are a date, comma, and then the number. So we're going to take the current number, which would be 11,388.82, and then subtract the old number, which is 8413.42. Okay, and then we divide out by that second number, which is 8413.42. Okay, and when we divide this and then multiply by 100, we get 35%. So there was a growth of 35% over these months. Now, for number two, we're going to go from September 1st, so the same number, 11,388, and we're going to end at August 9th, which is 56.95. So we don't do, just a note, we don't do biggest minus smallest. We do like later minus previous. Okay, so the later here is 56.95.33, and we're going to subtract 11,388.82. And if you take a look at these numbers, you can tell that it's going to be negative. Okay, so you can tell by the graph that there's a negative trend here. The stock market went down, but if you calculated the actual growth or decay of the stock market, for this, it actually went down 50% over these months. Okay, what happened here? Think about what happened. Well, 9/11, they've crashed the stock market, right? So, number three, and it's blue, August 15th, which is here, 2007 to August 15th, 2008, which is this number here. So we can see that this is going down, but just a bit. But let's not rely on that. Let's actually do the numbers. 13,096.70 minus 13,048.76. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. And then we divide it by the most current one, like the later one. So that one actually went down 23%. I wouldn't have thought that it went down that much, but it did. So there was a rise between these 2 points. There was a fall in the stock market here, and then there was another fall during this time.